Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the 1111 Matrix Code Revealed. As always, I'm your host, Garrett King. I have to start off by saying that I apologize for not putting out a video last week. I have just been so extraordinarily busy, mostly with my day job. There's been a lot of changes at my job, and we've kind of merged with two other companies. So everyone's just kind of running around like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to make sense of everything, and just workloads increased. And it's just kind of been a lot, as you know, as we're all learning kind of to settle into our new roles and what, you know, our new tasks are, et cetera, et cetera. So by the end of the day, I'm just kind of exhausted and, you know, not really in the frame of mind to sit down and record a video. But I wanted to get something out for you guys, and I have a little bit of stuff to show you today that I thought was pretty interesting. One of them is another Bible code matrix that I think is just mind-blowing. But the first thing that I want to show you is something that my coworker sent to me, and this is the same coworker who I talk about in my videos, you know, like when I, in the past, when I mentioned that, you know, I had sent her, you know, like screenshots or whatever, you know, and it was like the 11 of 11 screenshots. It's the same person. She was watching TV one night and this commercial came on, and just because of, you know, the things that I've talked about with her, she recognized these things straight away. And she's like, she said that she like was going to record the commercial with her phone, but then she thought, well, you know what, I can probably find it online. And sure enough, she did. And so she sent me the link and she's like, you have to see this. And of course, as soon as I saw it, I was like, whoa, this is incredible. And you'll see what I mean here in just a second. But it makes me wonder a couple of things. Did the people who made this commercial, are they aware of this 1111 number, or has the 1111 matrix code found its own way into it, inserting itself into this video or into the minds of the people who made the video? So I can't play you the video, you know, just for copyright reasons, etc. But I can probably scrub through it and show you certain things without too much issue, I hope. And I'm not going to link to this video because I don't know anything about the University of Phoenix. You know, that's the website that made this commercial. So I'm not, you know, affiliated with them in any way. So, you know, I don't want to include the link. But the best way for you guys to find the video, to watch it for yourselves, is to just do a search for Masters on Your Mind. That's the title of the video, okay? And if you find the right one, you'll know it because you'll see that you're on the University of Phoenix on their YouTube channel. Okay. There's a lot going on in this video, okay? So as you can see, I have it scrubbed to the very beginning. This is the very start of the video itself. And, oh crap, I probably shouldn't have done that. It's having to refresh itself. Well, let me just refresh the entire page. Maybe that'll... Whoops, didn't mean to play it. That's okay. All right. Let's turn the volume down too, just so it doesn't pick up that I'm playing the volume. Okay. so let's look at this straight away. So the first thing that we can see is this boy here. His shirt has the number 11 on it. Okay. Now, just by me saying that, you're probably thinking straight up, okay, big deal. He's making mountains out of molehills. But I'm not. Okay. So 11 on the shirt. And I'm just going to gradually just go kind of click a little bit because I don't want to miss anything. Okay, so we can clearly see that it's 11 on his shirt. And let's just advance. Okay, we can see that the number 11 is circled on the calendar. Okay, and let's advance a little bit. We can see it even more. And as you're watching this video, you'll hear it for yourselves if you guys go and watch this video. So the guy's talking about, he's thinking about going back to school and getting his master's degree. And his wife says to him, I can't remember word for word, but basically she says something along the lines of, I heard that so-and-so, probably University of Phoenix, is allowing you to get your master's or something for less than $11K a year. Okay? $11K. So that's another 11 connection. So that's 3 so far. And I would play you the audio, but I don't want to, again, get in trouble. Or hear it. You can actually see it. I don't even have to play it for you. You can just look at the captions. Couldn't think of what it was called. So he says, hey, I was thinking about going back to school. And let's just go ahead and play it. And he says to get my master's. Now, think about something here for just a second. 11, the number 11, is a master number. Okay? So keep that in mind. And then she says, I just saw something that said you could do it in a year for like 11K. Okay? So she says 11. And then he says, Okay, so let's advance. Okay, look at the number on his coffee. It's 11. It's also 11th Street, and the date is November 11th, 2022. Okay, a date that hasn't even happened yet. It's also table 11. Okay, I mean, you can't get any more obvious than this. All right. And there's probably some more wording in here that I can't see because it's blurry. But let's keep going. Okay. And then woman in black, this woman here, she says something and she says, yes, here at 11. Okay. He bumps into her. Look at the number on the taxi. It's 11. And you'll see it, but he tells the cab driver the address of where he's going. And I just noticed this. It looks like you can see the boom camera. That doesn't look like a traffic light. It looks like a boom camera or mic that that's in the way from them filming. But anyway, that's beside the point. But he gives the cab driver the address of where he's going, and you'll see it should pop up here on the screen. 1111 Masters Boulevard. Okay. And then he says, gonna be 11 even, buddy. That's how much it cost. And we can see the number 11 up here. Okay. It's all 11. But there's something very unique about to come up here in just a moment. It's this homeless man holding a sign that says, the clues are all around us. The clues are all around us. And through this entire thing, he's been seeing the number 11. Or 1111. Okay, it keeps going. And then over here on this sign, master's degree, less than 1 year, under 11K. So there it is referenced again. And the same shot, but just from a different angle at the very end. And again, it's University of Phoenix. But how insane. This goes kind of back to the very first video that I ever did. Video number 1, where I talked about, people seeing the number 1111, how it was showing up all over the place, that people were using it in commercials. And at the time, I mentioned Windows 11 because they used it in their promo video announcing Windows 11. When they showed the computer screen and the time up in the corner was 11:11. So I just thought that was interesting. And it was very cool that my coworker caught that. She caught all the signals, or signs, I guess I should say, all the signs straight away. Like, I mean, she saw it late in the night. She said she was going to call me, but she figured I was probably asleep. But she was so stoked about it that she immediately had to go and find the commercial on YouTube and then send it to me in a text message. So I just thought that was kind of cool. It's very interesting. And again, it makes you wonder, are they aware of this 1111 connection? Or, as I said earlier, did the 1111 matrix code just find a way to insert itself on its own, into the minds of these people to focus on that number? Who knows? I have no idea. No idea. But again, just thought it was very, very interesting, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So if you want to go check it out, again, the video is called Masters on Your Mind, and it's the University of Phoenix on YouTube. Just go check it out. Okay. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is I've been doing a lot of research on the Bible code. And I just kind of wanted to relay some information that, I've been reading and that makes a lot of sense to me and has answered a lot of questions that I have because, I did purchase the Bible code books, actually 1, 2, and 3. I have received 1 and 2 already. I'm just waiting for the third one to show up. But there's a lot of interesting information there. And one of them is where Michael Drosnin is talking about how when the code was first discovered, all of these mathematicians came forward and were trying to make, false claims that there was no validity to the Bible code. And what they were saying is that essentially you could take any book, that was significant length, and you would find codes in it. Well, that's true. You will. And Michael Drosnin even, admitted to that. And the difference is that these skeptics aren't pointing out, because all they're pointing out is that you can just pull up any book and find an ELS, skip distance, and find a word, okay? But it's only in the Bible where you will find a word with meaningful connection words next to it, okay? So, for example, let's say that you were reading Stephen King's It, okay? That's a really hefty book. It's really long. It's like over 1,000 pages. So the chances of you finding an ELS word, okay, a word that shows up using a certain skip distance, is probably going to be really, really good, okay, that you'll find words. And let's just say, for example, that you do find the word Kennedy, okay? You may find the word Kennedy, but the chances of you finding Dallas, assassination, gunshot, head wound, any of those types of words next to Kennedy, it's not going to happen, okay? They've already tested this. Obviously, they haven't tested every single book in the world, okay? But they have tested large volumes of text, and they used it as a control text, okay, to see if they would find the same types of words with meaningful words next to them. And it failed every single time, okay? That's what the skeptics aren't telling you. It's only in the Bible where meaningful passages and meaningful connection words are showing up next to the main search word. So I thought that was very, very interesting. Another thing that Michael Drosnin talks about is that, and not only Michael Drosnin, a lot of people, and Greg Braden, I think, is another one. He has a YouTube channel. He talks about the Bible codes. And they both agree, Michael Drosnin and Greg, I think it's Braden, I think that's how you say his last name. They both agree that the Bible code does not predict the future. What it is giving us is outcomes, okay? Possible outcomes. And one thing that Greg Braden said is that when, in some of his testing, when he would put in, or whoever was doing the research, whenever they would put in certain key phrases, they would oftentimes find this phrase right next to it. And the phrase was, will you change it? Okay? Meaning that this event can possibly happen, but will you change it? That's the question. So this is one possible outcome of the future. And if you know it in advance, can you or will you change it? So one of the things basically is that what they're saying is that the past is set in stone because it's already happened. That's why we're finding many of these codes in the Bible of past events, the sinking of the Titanic, 9/11, the attack on Hiroshima. I mean, you name it, it goes on and on. These events have already happened. Okay? We were not aware, or the majority of us, maybe some people were, but I'm going to say the majority of people were not aware that the codes were in here stating that these events could take place. If they were, let's say, for example, let's use the Titanic, okay? Let's say that someone back then managed to search the code and found this information. They might have been able to prevent it. They might have been able to say, hey, don't set sail on this date. Wait and do it on this date, okay? Because then the iceberg could have been in a different position. They wouldn't have run into it, et cetera, et cetera. So, had that been the case, they could have prevented the whole entire thing from happening. But from what I'm gathering, nobody knew, obviously. Or if they did nothing to stop it because the event took place. And we found it later on. So here's a prime example. So Michael Drosnin, when he was first researching the Bible code, he came across Israel's prime minister at the time. I believe his name was Yitzhak Rabin. And he found his name, okay, the prime minister's name in the Bible, completely spelled out. And not only spelled out, it was spelling it out vertically, straight up and down. Crossing his name were the words, assassin who will assassinate, okay? And he found a date. It was a date in the future, okay? And he also found the word, I believe he also found the word assassinate on its own, okay? So you had Yitzhak Rabin, assassin, and then assassin who will assassinate is literally crossing his name, and then the date was somewhere in there as well, okay? They didn't know, or he didn't know, obviously, who or what the assassin's name was going to be. However, they found the name, but only after the assassination took place. And yes, it did take place. But here's the thing. So Michael Drosnin found his, Yitzhak Rabin's name in the Bible code. He flew to Israel, gave Yitzhak Rabin's, I think it was like his best friend or like a really good friend of him, a letter that Michael Drosnin gave him this letter and was hoping that, his friend would give the letter to, Yitzhak. And so he went there, and Yitzhak's friend read the letter, and he said, do you seriously expect me to tell the prime minister, all this information? And he said, look, the only time that his name appeared in the Bible, the words assassin who will assassinate crosses over it. And then he explained that we found all of these other codes. We found one on Kennedy. We found one on the Titanic, et cetera, et cetera. So Yitzhak's friend said, okay, I'll give him the letter, but I can tell you right now, he's not going to buy into any of this. He's not that type of person. He's not superstitious, et cetera, et cetera. So whether or not he actually gave him the letter, that's up for debate. But let's say that he did, okay? If he did, then he ignored the letter. And the assassination took place exactly as it was foretold in the Bible code a year before, okay? Michael Drosnin was aware of this information 1 year ahead of when the assassination was supposed to take place. So, and as Michael Drosnin said, and I saw this in a documentary about the Bible code, he said, I failed because I tried to prevent it, and Yitzhak Rabin refused to take heed to the information that, Michael Drosnin was trying to give to him, and he was assassinated. Now, the person who assassinated him, his name was Amir, A-M-I-R. And once they discovered that information, Michael Drosnin went back to the same Bible code where he found Yitzhak Rabin's name, and sure enough, right next to his name and right next to where it says assassin who will assassinate was the name Amir. Now, obviously, he didn't find it before because he had no idea what the assassin's name was going to be. So it kind of gives you chills when you think about it. But it's also interesting when you think about this idea that, again, it's not telling us the future as it is set in stone. It is giving us possible future outcomes that can very well be changed if we know about the events in advance. Okay? That's why it's important for us to, and I say us, I don't think there's that many people, there's a few, but not as many as there should be, still researching the Bible codes today. Because a lot of people were listening to what these other mathematicians were saying about, oh, you can find ELS in any book. Yes, again, that's true. But you won't find these meaningful connections and words in any other book but the Bible. So, thought that was very cool. And one of the passages in the book that I thought was very interesting is Michael Drosnin was talking to, I can't remember who it was, but he was talking to someone who he showed him this research, and this person, after seeing the evidence, agreed that there was indeed a code hidden in the Bible. And Michael Drosnin said to him, who could possibly know? Who could possibly know what was going to happen in the future? And the guy replied with one single word. And he said, God. God would be the only one who would know. And so when you think about it, God created everything. He knew in advance from the beginning. He knew the beginning and he knew the end and everything in between. It goes back to what I was saying in my previous video where I was talking about, Genesis 1, where it states, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. But we have that one word, that two-letter word that is made up of the first letter and the last letter of the alphabet, the beginning and the end. So when I read that, I was like, obviously, it gave me chills again. And then one of the other things that Michael Drosnin said too was that this code was hidden, and many, many rabbis throughout the centuries knew or believed that there was a code in the Bible. Well, where did they get the notion that it was there? Don't know. But they knew it somehow, and way back when, before the invention of computers, they would do it by hand. They would literally sit there and start with the first letter, choose a number, start with 7, let's say, and count over, okay? And then just look and see what words they find. That was really the only way they could do it, by hand. And it's said that it drove many, many, many of them absolutely insane. Okay. And that's understandable. There's 304,805, I believe, words in the Bible. Okay. 304,805. It's a lot. So it was only after the invention of the computer that the codes began to really reveal themselves. All right. Now, even Isaac Newton, I was surprised to discover this, or not to discover it. I didn't discover it on my own, but to read about it, that Sir Isaac Newton believed himself that there was a code in the Bible. Now, after he died, they found his writings and were kind of shocked to discover that many of his writings towards the end of his life were more on the esoteric side of things, and where he literally talks about stating that, he believes that there is a code in the Bible. And it's a code that basically runs through everything in the entire universe. I mean, it's and again, where did he get the notion of such a code existing in the Bible? Okay. But he believed it wholeheartedly. He spent the last portion of his life searching for this code. He never found it, but it was something that he considered to be very, very important. Now, the other thing, I have so many things running through my head. I want to make sure that I'm touching on all of them. Where was I going with that? Oh, one of the other things that they talked about in this documentary that I was watching was how this one rabbi found, I think it was a rabbi, he found that in Genesis, okay, that if you found the first letter of the name or the word Torah, okay, so the first letter that makes up the word Torah. Have a lot going through my head right now, so trying to make sure that I'm staying on track. So if you find the first letter that makes up the word Torah, and then from that letter you count over 50, you'll find the next letter that makes up the word Torah. Count over 50, and you'll find the third one. And then you count over 50, and you'll find the fourth one. Okay? There's only 4 letters in Hebrew that make up the word Torah, okay? Because the A is a vowel, and they don't use vowels. Now, O, to us, is a vowel, but it's not considered a vowel in this case. I'm not sure why, but they don't consider it a vowel. So you have essentially Torh, okay? So he found that in Genesis. But then he went to the next book, which I believe is Exodus. And let's just look here. Yes, so in Exodus. So he went to Exodus and found that the exact same thing happens. Okay? So you go and you start from the beginning and you go over until you find the first letter that makes up the word Torah. Count over 50, you'll find the second one. Count over 50, you'll find the third one. Count over 50, and you'll find the fourth one. Then he went to Numbers, and then he went to Deuteronomy. He discovered in these two books that the same thing happens, but Torah is backwards, okay, in both Numbers and in Deuteronomy. And in Leviticus, what he found was that if you, I think it was an ELS skip of 7, he found the name Yahweh. Okay? So it's like you have Torah pointing inwards twice to the name Yahweh in the middle. All right? So I wanted to test that for myself. So here's what I did. So this is the program, the JLA Tanakh program. It's searching the Torah. And let's come up here and let's type in the word for Torah. And there we go. Okay. And we're going to do a search. All right. So here it is in Genesis 1. So it finds it vertically. Now, this is what I think is incredible. So let me go back. Hang on one second. Let me go back here. So we're going to do a search, and we're going to scroll down. And as you can see, as it searches all of the, and this isn't just the first 5 books, okay? This is all of the, I believe they call it the Tanakh, okay? So this is the first 5 books of the Bible make up the Torah, and then, I believe I'm saying that right, and then the rest of the books, so it would be like Chronicles, let's come down here, so like Chronicles and everything, that makes up the rest of it. So the first 5 books of the Bible is what was dictated to Moses, supposedly directly from God. Okay, so it found 1,578 instances of the word Torah. So we can see it here. And as you can see, it's running backwards. So it's running from the bottom up instead of the top down. What was I saying? I was totally losing my train of thought. Oh, so yeah, it finds 1,578 instances of the word Torah, which I think is incredibly interesting because that's what the book, the first 5 books anyway, that's what it's called. It's called the Torah. And interesting that it would run through the entire thing. But let's have a look at this. Let's go back. Let's just search the Torah, the first 5 books, and we're going to search the same word. Okay. And so what this is showing us up here is each place where it's found. So right here, it's showing Genesis 1, and then Genesis 2, and then Genesis 2, verse 7, etc., as it goes down. Now, this is what I find incredibly interesting. So it's going to go all the way to Deuteronomy, okay? And that's the last book of the Torah, the first 5 books. But look how many it found. 370. 370. That number stands out because essentially we're looking at the number 37. Okay? 37. As you all know, that number plays out heavily in the 1111 matrix code. All the numbers are going up and down by the number 37. Also, the fact that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. In Hebrew, in Gematria, just that first verse has the value of 2701. And again, adding 2701 to its mirror opposite of 1072 gives you the number 3773. Again, I've already talked about all of this. So it's another number that shows up repeatedly, 37. And again, it's just interesting to me that it stops right at 370. 37. It could have stopped at 369. Okay, that would have been interesting, especially with Nikola Tesla and how 1111 times 333 is 369,963. That would have been interesting as well. And it could have gone to 371, but it doesn't. 370, 37. All right. And it shows us every single place. And what we're looking at down here is the matrix, okay? Now, what I want to show you, if I can, so let's go back to the very first one. This is the one that it finds in Genesis, all right? Now, as you're looking at this, what the program is doing is taking all of the letters or all of the words in the Bible and removing the spaces, okay? And if you look right up here, I have an equidistant letter search with the number 50. That's the skip, okay? So it's taking the first letter, and then you count over 50, it finds the next one, count over 50, it finds the next one, et cetera, et cetera. That's why it's lining everything up perfectly, okay? So here it goes again, as it finds each one throughout the entire thing. 370 times in the first 5 books of the Bible. I just think that's incredibly cool that the word shows up that many times. All right. Let's see here. I was going to say something. What was I going to say? I forgot. Okay. Oh, I know what I was going to do, actually. So let's go back and let's just look, because I want to show you what this looks like. Okay, so as you can see here, as it's written out, then we get to here and it stops here. And then verse 6 starts and goes to 7. It wraps around to here. We get to 8. And you can see as it's getting cut off, it's just like a book, where not everything is lined up. And it's only after you do a search that, oh, whoops. I didn't have the word in there. That's why it didn't find it. So it's only after you do the search that it lines up everything the way that it needs to be, in order to make, the words line up vertically. Just so you can see. All right. Okay, so to pretty much wrap this up, I want to show you another matrix that I found that involves, again, my name and this whole 1111 matrix code. I've kind of shown you some of this already, where I've done searches for Garrett King, found 333 and 1111 in the same area. But this particular matrix that I found and the way that I found it, again, is well beyond coincidence to a number that I can't even comprehend, okay? Let me go ahead and pull this up for you. So here it is. Now, I did the search using Code Finder, and the words that were searched were Garrett King, 333, and 1111. Okay, that's what I started off with. And I found them all. So in red right here is my name, Garrick. And it comes all the way down to where this pink letter is. And it's pink because 333 is using this last letter to make up 333. All right. So Garrick is here in red, and then King is here in green, and it's coming down diagonally like this. All right. And then 1111 is running right here. It's in this sort of maroon color. And it literally crosses my name, Garrick, and also comes over and is not really crossing, but it's butting right up to another word that I found after I found Garrick King 333 and 1111. Okay. So when I was doing the search for these words, that's what I put in first, Garrick King 333 1111. Then I searched for the word code. Okay. CODE. And I found it right here in blue. So it's this letter, and this letter here. Okay. Let's move this over just a little bit. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. This makes up the word code. So then I started thinking about the phrases, like Garrick King decodes the God matrix, having the value of 1111. And that's what I want to point out here really quickly before I move on. I should have said this at the beginning. When I did this search, the ELS skip that I put in was minus 1111 to positive, or just 1111. Okay. So minus 1111 to 1111. And that's how all of this was found. That right there by itself, the ELS skip of 1111 was incredibly interesting. Okay. So found the word code. So then I started, like I said, I was thinking about those phrases, like Garrick King decodes the God matrix, and the other one, in God, Garrick King is the chosen mathematician. So I was thinking about the first one, Garrick King decodes the God matrix. So I put in the word decode, couldn't find it. I put in the word discover, couldn't find it. Then I finally settled on the word reveal, or reveals, and boom, it popped right up. And it's right here in this kind of purple color. Okay. And then that's when I was thinking about the phrase, in God, Garrick King is the chosen mathematician. I put in the word mathematician, couldn't find it. And I put in the word chosen. And sure enough, it showed up right here. It's in this kind of mustard green or goldish looking color right here. So it's this letter, this letter, this letter, and this letter. So when you look at this, it is literally telling us that Garrick King, me, was apparently chosen to reveal the 333-1111 code. And that's exactly what I've done. Okay. Wished I had found this before, but I mean, obviously I wasn't even into looking up, the Bible codes. I'd read the book, when it first came out, but never owned the software, never, learned how to do it. None of that stuff. Never had a reason to. I didn't think I would ever be in there. But I am. And I'm in here quite a bit. My name can be found, Garrick King can be found quite a bit in the Bible. But I mean, when you stop and look at this, Garrick code is crossing my name at the top. 1111 is crossing it at the bottom. And then the word reveals is between code and butting up right alongside of 333. 333. Now, the letters that make up 333 is this one here in pink, this one here in purple, because the word reveals is using the same letter, this middle letter here that 333 is using, and then the last one that it's using in my name. So 333 is connecting to the word reveals and to Garrick. And then, of course, code running along the top, 1111 crossing it at the bottom, and then simply the word chosen over here, and 1111 connecting to the word chosen. It's just incredible, and then the name King standing out over here. So, when you stop and think about it, if I had, which I need to do this now that I'm saying this out loud, I hadn't even thought to do this. Had I searched for this, had all of this happened without me changing my name to King, I would still have found my name Garrick, and then I would have found chosen, reveals, 333, 1111, and code. Okay? The question is, will I have found the name that I was born with, the last name that I was born with? Okay? Staggs. That's the question. I should put that in. Actually, I don't need to. Because I already know from looking at my brother that it doesn't find the word Staggs as Staggs. It only finds Staggs. Okay? I think I'll still test it again just to see. Who knows? Who knows what will happen? But that will be the real trick here, I think, is Staggs going to show up in here? If it doesn't, then this would lead me to think or to believe that I was only going to discover this after I changed my name to King, because that's when all of this started happening. Well, let me back up. The 333 part started before. So my name was still Garrick Staggs when I was seeing 333. So it was only after I changed my last name to King, after I got married, that I started seeing 1111. And maybe that's why this in green is coming down diagonally and pointing directly to 1111 as it's crossing over here. Okay? Now, for anyone who is questioning how did I find the numbers, again, I used Code Finder. So let me just show you this very quickly. Here it is. Computer's moving slow, and I think it's because I'm recording this video. Oh, it opened up 2 versions, so yep. Okay, so here's Code Finder. So we're going to open up so as you can see, it has the Torah, so just the first 5, and then the Tanakh, which makes up the rest of the book. So it doesn't really matter which one I open up here, so I'm just going to do Tanakh. Okay, so this program actually has a tool that will do Hebrew number converter, okay? And this is it right here. So all I have to do is type in 1111, and it shows what the converted number to Hebrew is going to be. And then you just hit this button here, and it adds it to the search field over here, okay? Now, it tells us over here that it's expecting to find 11,977 instances of 1111. But again, that's just finding that one simple word. It's when you start finding these words or numbers, like in a search with other words that have meaningful connections. And those meaningful connections are only found within the Bible itself. So, and then again, if I was to, search 333. Okay, so we can see 333. It's converted it there. You can do large numbers as well. You could do 369963. So that's what it would look like in Hebrew. So, yeah. I just, again, find this incredible. I find it sometimes even, hard to believe, and which is strange because I'm sitting here looking at it. I found it, and as strange as I find it, I'm still not completely surprised. I sent this to Micah, and in fact, the version that I sent to Micah didn't have the word chosen. At that particular time, I did not find the word chosen. So I just had Garrett King reveals 333-1111 code. And when I sent it to Micah, he just replied back and said, I'm not surprised. But I still am sitting here going, why me? Why me? Because there's nothing special about me. There's nothing great about me, other than, nothing. I'm not an actor. I'm not, a politician. I haven't done great things, that I, am recognized for. I'm not a wizard. I'm not a sage. I'm not a, rabbi. I'm not Jewish. I'm not even religious, So again, why me? Why, if I was chosen, why was I chosen? Why wasn't it you or somebody else? Why me? And the fact that it is encoded in a book that was written 3,000 years ago, over 3,000 years ago. The information was there. It was encoded from the very beginning. So, pretty wild. Pretty wild. All right, folks, that's pretty much all that I have. As I continue to find stuff, like I said, and will continue to say, I will bring it to you and show you. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I will for just a split second. I did find another Bible code matrix that appears to be revealing something that, again, could happen. Okay? Not going to state that it is going to happen. And I'm not, maybe I shouldn't have even brought it up. I hesitate to show on YouTube what this matrix reveals. Just because of what it says. And it is concerning our current, I have to be careful what words I use here, because some of you may not know, but one of my videos was removed from YouTube for talking about political type things. Yeah. So let's just say it's the person currently in office. Their name came up and with some other information. Okay. If you want to know what it is that I'm talking about, and if you want to know what the matrix shows, hit me up on Instagram in the DMs and I'll send you a screenshot. Yeah, I'll do that for you guys. I'll send it to you that way. I hesitate to put it out there on Instagram or Facebook or anything like that, because I don't want people to think that I'm saying this is going to happen. It's a possibility. It's one one outcome of the future that is a possibility, okay? But not stating that it's going to happen. So again, if any of you want to know what it is that I'm referring to, I will send you the matrix. It has the words that I searched. They're all on there. They were all found closely knit to one another. And I was just kind of shocked by what it states. And it gives this year, okay? But I could not find a specific date for what it's saying might happen, okay? Just this year. So who knows? And maybe let's just say maybe if it does happen, then I'll know the date, because I'll know the date that it happens, and then I can go and search for it. Okay. The only way that I would be able to find it is to literally search every single date from now until the end of the year and see which one shows up close to, all these other words. So yeah. But I mean, here's the real trick is if the event happens, then I will know, or will have known in advance, that it was going to happen. And that is freaky, because then I'm sitting here wondering, could I get in some kind of trouble for knowing? I mean, probably not, because most people aren't going to take, this serious. They may, who knows? And in fact, I don't know, they actually could take it very serious, because when they first started researching the Bible codes, it found its way to the NSA. All right. So the NSA was doing research on the Bible codes, and the particular person who was doing the research for the NSA, after their testing and experimenting, was thoroughly convinced that yes, indeed, there is a code hidden in the Bible that reveals, possible future events taking place, and definitely reveals past events that have already taken place. This person was 1,000% convinced, and this was someone in the NSA. Okay. The National Security Administration. So, I think that's what NSA stands for. But anyway, it found its way there. So yeah, the government is very much aware of this already. Yeah. So again, if you guys want to know what that matrix is, just hit me up in Instagram DMs and I'll send you the screenshot. You can see it for yourself. I just, hesitate to talk about it on YouTube. Just again, for what it says. So, all right, going to end this here. Again, I apologize for not having a video last week. I'm just incredibly busy, and I apologize. Unfortunately, I make no money off of doing this these YouTube videos, or doing any of this research. So my day job's what pays the bills, keeps the electric on, and allows me to be able to present this information to you. So that has to take, the leadership over everything else. It has to come first. So again, I apologize. I'm going to try to do better, try to get stuff out. But if I skip a week, just know that, I am busy, and I will have something for you shortly. A lot of you have reached out to me asking me to see if I can find your names in it. I would love to do that for you guys, but I've gotten so many requests. I just simply cannot search for every single one of you in the Bible. I wish I could. I wish I had the freedom and the time to do that for you. I really, really do. But I don't. Right now, I just simply don't. And I wish I could, but I can't right now. So I apologize. Okay, enough for now. So until next time, I hope everyone takes care, and we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.